Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. In tonight's show, an awkward topic that's being brought up in northern Lincolnshire. And the first of our Get Creative features on people who have turned their passions into their professions. But first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, unemployment is falling across the country and a new gym is opening in Grimsby. A man who subjected a Barton estate to antisocial behaviour, racial abuse and criminal damage has been served with an injunction. Darren Toll, of No Fixed Abode, has been served with a 3-year antisocial behaviour injunction, meaning he can no longer enter a number of streets, including Yarborough Court and Lincoln Drive in the town. If Toll is found in the area, he is now open to arrest.
He's not a resident of ours on the estate, but he was a regular visitor to the estate, and it was our tenants and residents that were experiencing the problems. So we have powers as a social landlord to obtain injunctions through the court to ban people from certain areas where the court feels it's appropriate. In this case, we're very pleased that the court saw things in the same way that we did. One household on the estate was subjected to some quite shocking behaviour, and we felt it was important to put a stop to that straight away. I think it will give people peace of mind, and it will also give people assurance that if they're willing to come forward and talk to us about problems they might be having, then we can take whatever steps are necessary, along with the police and other agencies, to make sure that our residents can live peaceful lives as they deserve to in their homes.
Figures released yesterday showed that unemployment has gone down across the country. It looks as though the UK jobless rate is now back at pre-recession levels, with the unemployment rate now standing at 6.4%, the lowest rate since 2008.
The unemployment figures, if I can think about North East links and North links, again we've seen a reduction, which continues the trend over the last year, which has seen significant drops in our GSA claimant count. Which I think is makes me cautiously optimistic about the future for people looking for work in the area. Youth unemployment continues to drop significantly as well. We're down on the register something like 36% in North East links from where we were 12 months ago, and in North links around 30%. So some good news there, I think, in terms of young people finding work in the area.
North East Lincolnshire Council will, this month, start checking that people claiming single-person council tax discount aren't doing so fraudulently. Currently, 26,000 householders in the area have been awarded a single-person discount. The discount allows houses with one occupant to receive 25% off their council tax. The local authority will start comparing the data it holds on households versus other government databases. Anyone found to be fraudulently receiving a single-person discount will face the possibility of a fine and legal action. World Championship boxer Jamie McDonnell is in Grimsby tonight to open a brand new gym run by a former opponent. Grimsby lad Wayne Bloy fought McDonnell in 2 high-profile fights, the first of which was quite controversial. Since those fights, McDonnell has gone on to become a world bantamweight champion, but is still in touch with Bloy. His new gym is on Ladysmith Road and is a charity that aims to improve people's lives through fitness and to teach troubled teenagers about motivation and discipline. McDonnell officially cuts the ribbon tonight, and Hull hero Tommy Coyle will also be there to show his support.
Obviously, I've met a lot of people when I've boxed. The first person who I wanted on my list of people to come and open it for us was Jamie McDonnell, because those that follow boxing know that he's a double world champion now, and those that have followed me know that I boxed him twice. First one was a little bit controversial, but that's a different story. But he's agreed to come down and open the gym for me. And also I've got Tommy Coyle from in Hull. I've trained with Tommy over there, and he's doing very, very well for himself. Signed with Matchroom Boxing now. I can see some big fights over there for him.
2 local universities are in the top third of the league tables for student satisfaction, according to the National Student Survey. The University of Lincoln received 86% student satisfaction, while University of Hull and York Medical School received 89% and 92% respectively. Professor Scott Davidson, Deputy Vice-Chancellor at the University of Lincoln, said that these results are a great testament to the quality of teaching across the whole institution, and just as importantly, how our lecturers excel at developing their students into confident, articulate graduates. That's all we've got time for now, and we'll be back with more news soon. If, in the meantime, you have a story for us, then don't hesitate to contact us on our Twitter or Facebook pages, or you can call us on Grimsby 315561. Bye for now.
Thanks, Richard. Now, as we get older, we're ever more aware of our own mortality, but here in Britain it can seem almost impolite to talk about it. But healthcare professionals in Lincolnshire are now trying to break down those barriers. A universal questionnaire has now been devised with patient groups, patients and healthcare professionals. Now all older people will have some guidance on what decisions they need to make while they still can make them. I went to Scunthorpe's Lindsay Lodge Hospice to find out more. The world is changing. People live around 11 years longer than when the NHS started in 1948. The Trust continues to adapt to an increasingly elderly population, but now it's patients' attitudes that need to change.
People are living a lot longer and living with more complex conditions, which also has greater impact on how people are living. So having them to raise the discussions of how they see their future panning out is very important.
Death is a subject that makes most of us wince, but one that's now being put firmly on the agenda. All older patients in North and North East Lincolnshire are now being asked to complete advanced care plans, which clearly set out their final wishes.
Some of the questions, things like where they want to be cared for, where they want to be at the end of their life, you know, and their decisions that they can make, they've made them, that the family are aware of it, and because obviously it's all computerised, it gets the GP gets to know, their consultant gets to know that actually, yes, you know, this patient is dying, their preferred place of care is either to be at home or the hospice or wherever, you know, and it makes the decisions that think, yes, this is what they would want.
I think it's about forward planning. And it's not a document that should be just given to a patient and ask them to fill in. It's a document that needs to be done gradually with professionals, and also they can take away and discuss with their family members.
While it's not an easy subject to talk about, it's hoped that it could make those difficult final few moments a little bit easier for staff, the patient and their loved ones.
Most patients that we get, certainly, it's amazing how much they think about their families and about what's going to be left for them to do. You know, it amazes me how much courage some of our patients have, you know, because they are making these decisions. They, you know, you go sometimes and they're sitting talking about the funeral and what hymns they want, and you know, and I often think for myself, how would I be in that situation, you know? And I think it's a very big thing, and the amount of families that say, I'm so pleased we did that, because now, and then when the patient dies, they know exactly what they want. They haven't got the added distress of making decisions about, you know, what hymns to... I mean, I know it sounds little, but what hymns to have, you know, what music to have and what they want. They've made those decisions. They know that they're fulfilling the wishes of their loved one at the end, and that's what's important.
The age of complex care for an ageing population is not a new one, and the idea of facing up to how we want to die is something we've already shied away from for far too long. But however unpleasant it may be, it's a conversation we all need to have. James Dunn, Estuary TV News. Yesterday we heard that since the recession there's been an increase in the number of people who have become self-employed. It's been argued that often these people don't have the same rights as traditional employees. But for some people, particularly in artistic industries, it can be the best way to earn a living. Today is the first of our Get Creative features, which sees reporter Dave Nunn speak to people who have turned the things they love into viable businesses. Here's Dave with children's author Calvin Innes.
If you're a parent with young children, Calvin Innes is a name you may soon be familiar with. He's a self-proclaimed entrepreneur who started quite a creative business model in Hull. He started at 17 publishing his first children's book, and now they're published all around the world, as far afield as Canada and Japan. But his latest venture is a combination of his love for writing interior design and a good tipple. It's taken years of hard work and investing his money back into his business, but now he's the proud owner of the Cardoma 94 bar. I went to the bar on Hull's Alfred Gelder Street to talk to him about his career, his work in schools and illustration classes for local young people.
So we're here in your bar, which is called Cardoma, is it?
Cardoma 94, yeah.
And how did you come about setting this place up?
Well, this was 4 of us. There's a couple of guys that I already work with. The guy that owns the building where my design studio is based. It's just upstairs from here. We're just having a beer, having a chat, and we're kind of... there's always been something on the cards about doing some sort of venue here. But between the 4 of us, we decided to set up the bar and the restaurant and kind of make a go of the whole thing. So the whole idea is we have something on all the time. So during the day we show films. We're going to have a soft play for kids to come in. I'm going to teach my monster drawing sessions that I do in schools right in here. We're going to have book readings. We have live music. We have live theatre. As long as there's something going on, that's kind of the idea. So whatever time of day, whatever day of the week you come in here, there's something to see or something to do. I started off as a children's illustrator, so years back. I write children's books as well. I'm a designer mainly, so I design everything from like toys, games, advertising material, posters, flyers. I animate. I run a publishing company, I run a design studio. We've recently set up a bar and a theatre venue as well. And I also have an interior design company as well, where we fit out bars and offices and make kind of custom furniture and customised cars and things. So anything to do with drawing and doodling, just in different areas.
Where did this love of illustration design come from?
I don't know. It's all I've ever done. It's kind of like all my earliest memories of me drawing. I've always had a thing where I just had to draw whatever it was, in as many different styles, as many different ways as I can. I just kind of enjoy drawing whatever it is. If I wasn't doing it for a job, I'd do it for a hobby anyway.
So you illustrate children's books?
Yeah, I've illustrated about 30 children's books.
How has the children's books been going for you?
Good, yeah. Well, I got my first one published when I was about 17. I've done quite a lot since. I've worked for sort of education companies and a few other publishers. Then a few years back I set up my own publishing company, mainly to kind of put out the books that I enjoy. So a lot of the stuff I used to do was kind of sort of sickly sweet illustrations, lots of fairies and glitter, and it wasn't really up my street. So when I decided to set up my own publishing company, I wanted to do stuff that was disgusting. So it's all monsters and bugs and bums and farts and cool stuff. It's much more fun to draw as well.
And how have the books been received by children?
Children love them. Across the board, we've always done really, really well with kids, because it's the kind of stuff they don't necessarily see everywhere else. We've never really had boundaries on what we put out. Everything we put out, everything I put out, I kind of run past kids first to make sure that they enjoy it. If teachers and parents don't enjoy it, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The best of power kind of goes a long way to kind of actually getting the books. And the main thing is the kids are going to be reading it, so we want the kids to enjoy them.
And how's the commercial reception been to the books? Have you sold a lot of copies? Or?
Yeah, we've sold quite a few. We're out in quite a few countries now. We recently sold rights out to Turkey. Some of the books are out in America. You can get them out in sort of Japan, France. My monster book of colours and monster book of numbers have gone out to Canada recently. They're going out to a few other countries soon that we're kind of working on at the moment. But yeah, all over the place really.
And how does it feel when you see children enjoying reading your children's books?
Well, for me, that's kind of why I keep on doing it. I absolutely love it. I've got a little boy of my own now. He's just almost a year and a half, and he loves the books that I do. I tell him stories every night, and some of those stories are going to be kids' books soon. But still, one of the best feelings ever, one of the best moments of my whole life was queuing up in a bookshop, just buying some comics, and the kid in front of me was buying a copy of my book. And I didn't realise till we got to the counter and put it up on the counter, and just seeing that was, it was amazing.
Thanks, Dave. And if you know someone like Calvin with an interesting story from an interesting industry, send us an email with the subject Get Creative. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but don't forget to get in touch if you've got something you'd like to share with us. Call on Grimsby 315 561. You can also get in touch via Facebook or Twitter at Estuary TV, or email us on info@estuary.tv. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.